Bear down, Bears fans. Another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the designer, John Jurkovic. Jurko, we have a desk.
I know.
For those of you
I don't know what the hell's going on.
We
used to be comfortable here. I don't know what happened.
I think the show grew up
now
a
it's
little
become
bit.
official.
I think the show grew up a little bit.
And then when we get like an alcohol sponsor, we'll have a nice bottle right here in between us.
This guy gets it.
Yeah,
Whenever Dunkin' Donuts comes through with that that check, we set a nice cup of Dunkin' right there.
We'll be nibbling on sponge cake.
Oh, a little sponge cake guy.
Watching the sun, babe.
Yeah, nothing wrong with some sponge cake.
That we will. But right now, you know what we got? We got my man Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Yes, we do.
That's who we have. And he's one of our sponsors. And he's got a videotape. If you go there, MitchLyonsWealth.com, he wants you to check out this videotape. It's about the deception of the retirement, and he's going to straighten you out and get you on the right path. So that's the important thing. MitchLyonsWealth.com.
Tap in with Mitch Lyons. Chicago Bears podcast also brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group. Find your next Chevy, Toyota, or Acura. Drive off in under 60 minutes or they'll make your first car payment. Also brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana, located 30 minutes from Soldier Field, I-80-94, exit 6. Pull up on them. All right, good kid. First off, how are you feeling? Good to see you.
I'm fantastic.
It's
I'm
good.
great.
Always good to see you in the building.
I've got zero issues. Zero issues.
is
Nothing should be
always
bothering
a
anybody.
great day.
Yep.
The Chicago Bears having zero issues right now. It feels like as we've got some joint practices announced. I like the direction they're going. We got the preseason games announced here. I can do without those. Let me ask you this, good kid. Mm-hmm. What do you get from the joint practices? When did you take part in any of those?
Yeah, absolutely. We practiced against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we were down in Jacksonville. We had the New England Patriots in town when I was up in Green Bay. When I was in Miami, went to the Tampa Bay Bucs also. So we kind of double dipped with some of those teams that were out there. I think we went to and practiced against New Orleans too, back when they used to have the Cheese League up there in Wisconsin. So they may have come out to us and practiced against us. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you get from it? You get different bodies. You get tired of beating up on the same bodies, seeing the same people, the same looks, the same techniques. So bringing in different teams, before you end up playing them anyway, bringing in those different teams gives you a different look than what you see every day. The level of competition goes up. The intensity goes up. So that's a good thing.
Is there and the Bears taking on the Bills, who will be here in Chicago. They're also taking on the Miami Dolphins, who will be here in Chicago. Is there a sense of pride going to these joint practices, or is it just work? Because coming into Halas Hall, I would assume that there's not at least how Ben Johnson has come off over the first couple of practices, you're not going to come in here and have a better day than we are.
I think there's a sense of pride. Obviously, you don't want to fall flat on your face. You don't want to get your ass kicked when things are happening and going on. The biggest mistake that could be made is that you have these practices and then you decide your first team doesn't need to play, which happened last year.
In the preseason game,
yeah,
you're saying?
In the preseason game,
yeah.
Oh, we had 3 great days of practice, blah, 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 blah. And because of that, my first team is not going to play in a game, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. Your first team needs reps, game reps, not practice reps, game reps. Because if the intensity gets higher when another team comes in just for practice, the intensity kicks up a notch for exhibition games. And then you get to the regular season and the intensity kicks up again. So there's different levels of intensity that you end up playing with. Whether you like it or not, subconsciously, you're always keeping something in
reserve.
In reserve, yeah, but not when you start playing games. So it's good to get a different speed, a different atmosphere and attitude out there.
So that may answer this question then, and let me know how you guys feel in the comments on this topic, because I've been one who said it feels like you come into these joint practices, and because of the scenario you say where the first team doesn't play or whatever it is, you end up getting more work out of the first team in the joint practices. So I've said, if you're going to 18 games anyway, let's be done with preseason. Let's run joint practices at Soldier Field or at whatever the stadium
They're
is.
going to keep it at 20, though. They're still going to keep it at 20. Even when they go to 18, they're going to give you 2 exhibition games.
Right.
There's a lot of charity stuff. It's 6 weeks. You got to have some practice games before you go on. Just doing the cross practice isn't enough.
It's not enough.
Not enough.
See, because I felt like last year when we watched Caleb Williams do it, you saw him perform well, and like you said, they end up benching him during the game. But were you going to get more out of it? Because I felt like what we were seeing from the defenses was we're running more scheme during this practice. We're doing things we may actually do in a game versus when you get to preseason games, you're getting more of the vanilla coverage.
You get two schools of thought.
Yeah.
Two schools of thought is that we're a young defense. We're Dennis Allen's new coordinator. We've got to go out there and put everything on tape we can. Team's got to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So who cares? The more you can put on tape, the more that they've got to prepare for. They can look back and see what Dennis Allen ran it with other teams, but what's the difference? When we were in Jacksonville, we ran everything. We were in Green Bay, we ran everything. We didn't keep anything under the shelf.
During preseason.
Right, during the preseason. When's there a better time to practice your blitzes? When's there a better time to practice your stunts? There's nothing worse than seeing the first game of the year and they run a stunt and they run into each other. Or one guy telegraphs it and the other guy's the penetrator's getting slammed in the face. The preseason games are the time to get that stuff in there. Now, as a player, I hated it. But as a coach and as a fan, I want to see my team out there and I want to see them playing. So the first exhibition game, those guys should play. Because you got
First two drives.
you got 90 guys.
Yeah.
I'd say the first quarter.
First quarter.
I would say 15 to 18 plays. I'd want to see my first team. First team's gone. Defense is gone. Put the rest of the kids out there. Then, if you got question marks, analyze those kids. The other one would be second game. I'd give them the first half.
Right.
I'd give them the whole first half, and then come in and now get some position battles that you want to see that you're taking a look at. You've got an inkling, and you kind of know what you're doing anyway in any of these position battles, whether it's going to be a young kid replacing a veteran player, because the youngster's a lot more inexpensive than the veteran guy is, and those games get played all the time. If the talent's equal, you keep the cheaper guy. That's the way it usually ends up working. The third exhibition game, which is now the fourth exhibition game, I still want them to go out there and get their 15 to 18 plays. So the way I see it, 15, 15, 30, you're getting 60 plays in the preseason. So however you want to do it and however you want to divide it, go ahead. But that's what I see.
As you doing the pregame show and me doing the postgame show, let me just say as well, thank God we don't have the fourth game this year. That Hall of Fame game was so it was just like, what are we doing out here? They called it last year.
And I do the postgame, and you do the postgame.
You do the postgame.
Yeah.
Postgame. I don't know.
Sylvie does the pregame. Sylvie does it. And Black and Abdallah do the
pregame. You got the pregame. We got the postgame, post. We've got it all covered here. But yeah, I'm good on, and we got late night preseason this year as well. 7:20 start for the third game. 7 o'clock start for the second game.
None of it bothers me. That's good. I'm happy to see that they're not on Saturday and they're not at noon.
That's
the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Saturday at noon.
It's the first game. It's the first thing I said.
They used to run these things. They used to run these things on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursday. What are we doing? Why not run them on Thursdays? I don't get it.
NFL's trying to take over every day of the week, Jurko. Preseason is interesting, but we haven't had you on since we've had the schedule released. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. I want to get your thoughts on the schedule because I'm seeing people out there making their predictions already, Jurko. I'm seeing 13-4. I'm seeing 12-5. I'm seeing everybody going all through the roof. And this schedule, to me, seems absolutely difficult. It does not seem like it's going to be a cakewalk for the Chicago Bears on top of everything they have going on. When you saw the schedule release, what were your first thoughts?
Well, you saw the way it laid out. Then they've got I think it's 5 games in 7 weeks.
On the road?
They're on the road in the middle. Week 9 and 10, I think it's the Ravens and it's the Bengals. You've got to make hay early like you did last year. You got to make hay early. You've got to find a way to win some games early to kind of build some confidence for your football team because the world is going to be a very real place for you in the middle of the season when you end up on the road a lot. You're going to be on the road a lot. So you got to make hay early. When I saw the schedule come out at the end of the season, when they tell you what teams you're going to play, who's going to be home and who's going to be away, I knew that the schedule was going to be a bear, an absolute bear. You got some layups. The Giants are a layup. The Raiders are a layup. You've got Cleveland in there that should be a layup. You've got other teams that are struggling at the quarterback position. New Orleans is one of those teams. So you've got 4 or 5 games that are built in that, okay, we should be able to handle these. And now which of the other games you're going to be able to win? So right away you go to home games, Steelers. I think they can beat the Steelers at home.
Yeah.
Other home games that are in that schedule, I think they can win those games on home. They only won one road game last year. They've got a grotesque inability not to win road games. And if that's happening, that's a problem. So hopefully we see this team hold court at home. 6-2 at home would be a great schedule.
Yeah.
And finding a way to win some games on the road. I only have them winning 8 games. I got them 8-8 going into the final week of the season when they got the Detroit Lions. And then depending upon what Detroit does will be whether they can find a way to win that game or not. So when we get there, we'll find out. But they could win 8 games and still play much better than they have.
Yes.
You know, you can look at them this year and say, hey, this is a much better football team than what we've seen. But that would also mean that you're competitive in all the other games that you're competing in. You're not getting your doors blown off the way you got your doors blown off in San Francisco last year.
Yeah, look, I've got the Bears 9-8 on the season. When I go through it, sometimes I magically find a 10th game. You know what I mean? Sometimes you look through some bear-colored goggles.
Well, you're an optimist. You're an optimist. I'm an optimist too, but I've been slapped in the face by this team too many times. So
yeah,
they don't get the benefit of the doubt. Ben Johnson doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Dennis Allen doesn't. Nobody gets the benefit of the doubt. You've got to prove it now, and you got to prove it on the field. And if 8 is too joyous of a number, well, we'll see what the hell this team ends up doing.
And I'll ask you this, Jurko, because I think people view this as you're expected to make this massive jump to multiple double-digit wins because of how much you paid Ben Johnson, because of the staff you brought in, because of the changes you made. Explain to the people out there that haven't been between those lines how hard a 4-game improvement is in the NFL. To take the Bears from 5 to 9 wins, I think would be a phenomenal season for
first
Ben
of all,
Johnson.
I don't think they were a 5-win team. I think they were what ends up happening over the course of the season, like San Francisco. I don't think San Francisco was a 6-win team last year.
Yeah.
I thought they were a better team, but injuries and this and that and circumstances led them to really underperform, to what their number probably should have been. That team last year to me was like a 9-win team, even with the injuries and everything that happened. They just lost some close games early. They didn't time it out well. During the schedule, you're also going to catch teams that are injured, like the Bears caught the Rams when they're absolutely injured.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of that. During the year, you're going to end up catching teams that are like, oh my, they're beat up. And you don't apologize for it because at some point you're going to get beat up too. And a team that you were supposed to beat, you end up losing to. So the quirks of the schedule over 18 weeks will end up that you're going to win some games you shouldn't, and you're going to lose some games that you should win. So that's just part of the schedule. But it's difficult, but I don't look at this team. This was a 7-win team 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They improved their talent and became a 5-win team. That doesn't make any sense.
A couple of these.
So to me, getting back to 8 victories is the bare minimum. That's where you're at. That's your bare minimum. That's where you should be at 8 victories. With this team, I don't think it should be difficult. I think them are my expectations. That's where I anticipate them being. And then hopefully they start playing better football and better football and better football. To me, Washington wasn't the team that they were last year, except they built on the momentum of beating the Bears with the Hail Mary. And after that Hail Mary, they just took on a life of its own. They got confidence. Yeah. And a confident football team is a scary football team. The Bears could have had that. That could have been the Bears last year.
Oh, it
if they could have, they'd have had the confidence. Yeah. They would have won on the road. They would have overcome the Kramer time BS that they went through last year. The bullshit of handing. Oh, I didn't forget it. I didn't forget it. They handed him the football and he fumbled. And they're on the goal line. Then Caleb came back and led him for a touchdown, which would have been the game winner. The whole storyline would have been, look at what Caleb did against Jaden Daniels. He led him to a game-winning touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Except it wasn't. That was the confidence they would have needed to propel themselves. Yep. They'd all been happy with each other. They'd all been slapping each other on the back. Instead, they're trying to kill the offensive coordinator and they're trying to kill the defensive, the Eberflus.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That quick. With the fragile minds and the fragile egos of the Chicago Bears players who turned on their coaches.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well for the Chicago Bears. Hopefully they can root that evil and they can root that cancer out of there and be a team that is somewhat more cohesive and wants to play for each other.
Yeah,
and their coach.
I'll tell you what, Jurk, I think you actually may be excited by going to one of these practices today. We went to the second OTA practice. I believe it was about an hour and a half
hope so.
to almost a 2-hour practice. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a better practice than I've seen the Chicago Bears have in the last 4 years.
I hope it is.
Like, I'm talking about better than training camp, better than the hard-hitting day that we
The last 2 years, all I did was waste petrol. That's all I did. I wasted petrol going up there, and I felt ashamed. If I want to live the green life, all I did was waste gasoline going up there.
You hurt the earth going to see the Chicago Bears.
Watching the Chicago Bears practice, yes.
Yeah.
A colossal waste of time the last 2 years. That's all it was.
I think it will be much better this year, my friend. I am excited by this team. Like you said, I think the kind of where this team is at and where this team is going to go is based on the players buying in and believing. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have that last season.
I'm with you. I got to roll, brother.
We'll see what happens. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. The Good Kids got a radio show to do. Kind of important. So y'all stay tuned in with Jurko. Go tap into the Carmen and Jurko podcast. Doing some fine things over there. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.